Hi guys, we've been doing factoring. Now we're going to solve quadratic equations by factoring. And when we solve quadratic equations by factoring, or anytime you just solve a quadratic, essentially what we're finding is the zeros. Where does it cross the x-axis? So graphically, we're looking at these things here. Okay? Now, to do this, the right side has to equal 0. So, add 12 over. Make sure your equation is in order. Okay? ABC. And then from there, you factor. So we draw our x. We can do just the x because the leading coefficient's 1. It's got to multiply to 12, add to 7. So factors of 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. And which ones add together to give you 7? Be 3 and 4. So then we write x plus 3 times x plus 4. So we factored. Now we're going to find the zeros. So you set both factors equal to 0. And solve for x. So how do you get rid of x plus 3? Well, we subtract. And that's it. So what this means is this graph's going to cross the x-axis at -4 and -3. Might look something like that. So those are your zeros. Let's look at another one. Luckily, this equation, it's set equal to 0, so I don't have to rearrange it. I just got to factor it. So 1 multiplies to 6 and adds to -5. -2 and -3. So then, set both factors equal to 0, solve for x. So this graph crosses the x-axis at 2 and 3. Question 3, this is a difference of squares. You can factor using the x, it's got to multiply to -9, add to 0, which would be -3 and +3. So we get x minus 3 equals 0, x plus 3 equals 0. So add 3, x equals 3, and x equals -3. Okay, this one, the right side does not equal 0, so I'm going to have to add 36. So what multiplies to 36, adds to 13? 9 and 4. So set both factors equal to 0. And we solve for x. this one, we can't factor just using the x. We're going to have to do slide and divide. So you take first times last, and multiplies to -6 and adds to -1. Well, that's -3 and +2. And then don't forget, you got to divide by a, which is 3. And over here, slide that over. That doesn't divide evenly, but it is in simplest form. Now we set those factors equal to 0. We get x equals 1. Subtract 2 over here. Divide by 3. X equals -2/3. Again, gotta slide and divide. So 5 times 6 is 30. Adds to -11. -6, -5. Easy enough. Don't forget to divide by a, which is 5. This doesn't divide evenly, so slide it over. Set both your factors equal to 0 and solve for x. Add 1, x equals 1. Okay, the last one. This one, just take out what do they have in common? They both have an x. So that's how you factor this one. X times 7x minus 2. And then x equals 0. The graph can cross at 0. And then solve this. Add 2. Divide by 7. Graph can also cross at 2/7. So those are your zeros. That's how you solve by factoring.